Meeting come to order. Dr. Versa.
Yes, good evening, board members and community and staff, and welcome to this grand June 13, 2017 board meeting. I'd like to introduce Ms. Janice Hernandez. She's going to lead us in an invocation followed by our pledge of allegiance.
Almighty God, may we bring reflection and wisdom to our meeting. May we use our expertise and our judgment, Lord, and direct our contributions. And may we always have in mind your will for the well-being and the future of our district. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we have no recognition, so citizens to be heard. Thank you. The next thing is the consent agenda, board members. You have any questions?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Items of information, construction.
Good afternoon. Start with the good news. We got the certificate of occupancy for Legacy High School. We've got main academic building, athletics, concession stand, and the Cape buildings.
Did you have to shoot somebody?
No,
Well, that's good.
No.
I thought it was coming to that.
we worked it out. So,
Very good.
other than that, really our own district coordination now, finishing all of the district supplied equipment, projectors, furniture is about 98% complete for the general classrooms. Then the package 2, which is the communal furniture pieces, will be getting or start getting delivered at the middle of June. And those are called to be done by the end of June. So installation starting. Cameras are also being complete. The burglar alarm system is up and running. And our facilities department has been pretty busy moving the current CTE buildings over to the new space, as well as ninth grade campus. So it's still a very active site in terms of our own district personnel.
I thought I was originally told that we might have to do like breaking of curbs and stuff to get that CFO.
It's done.
Are we gonna have to do that?
It's been done.
It's been done?
Yep. We did one curb that would need, that
Only one?
needed required access to the concession building, and that was
Okay.
done.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
Doris jumped on it and was able to get it done before the final walk. And that's what we're able to get the concession building. So it's,
very good. Thank you.
and that's it for my construction update on Legacy. We'll be presenting the substantial completion certificate next month. So, any questions on Legacy?
Oh, it sounds great.
Okay, the technology building, and that will be presented later on, but we're also done with the technology building. It's being occupied and moved in, so we got the certificate of occupancy for that building as well.
We actually got it before Legacy. Like
A couple of days before. And third is the construction update that you guys have in front of you for the Phase 1 of Southwest High School renovation project. That one again will touch the front office, security entry vestibule, updating the locker rooms for the boys and girls, and creating accessible lockers for that. Those have been selective demolished, so they're starting to figure out the scope on what plumbing will need to be demolished in those two showers. But the biggest scope and the biggest demolition currently is happening at the CTE building. The contractor kind of wanted to focus more on the demolition of that building, being that it's the biggest scope and it will take longer. Then they'll move to the front of office and the restrooms at the same time. But again, our department and CT staff also moved all of that, all those shops out, and they're being occupied now at Legacy, and we're moving on really fast on that building. So all the grits are out on both floors. VCT flooring has been demolished. There's no more culinary arts, so it's all, walls have been demolished to house the bigger and better cosmetology lab on it. So other than that, it's just a lot of demolition going on right now.
Is it gonna take the entire 3 months to complete the project at the CT building?
We're targeting for it. So we have given them middle of August, so, because that's when our teachers come back in.
Right.
But that's why they're starting, and they wanted to start from June 5th, the first day the kids were out.
Okay.
It's just and they're working Monday through Saturdays. I know once we get closer, we're probably gonna be Monday through Sunday, so. But we're very active on submittals, on anything that's equipment that needs to get approved and ordered, it's already on the pipeline. So, any questions on that?
Good news this time.
Yeah, today.
Today,
Got anything else on construction?
and that is it.
Thank
You
you
guys
very
have any
much.
questions? All right, thank you very much.
All right, the tax report.
Yes, sir. We're up over 0.5% than we were last year,
Got
so
all kinds of good news today.
it is, yeah, we're keeping rolling.
All right, financial report, investment gifts, purchases over 50,000. You got any questions? TASB update 108.
Last month, we just approved 107, but 108 comes out. We don't have a brown bag this summer, so I'm presenting it quickly here in June so it can go for July. 108 mainly pertains to instructional resources, materials, credit by exam, instruction, graduation, charter schools. On the legal side, it brings in what anticipated changes from the 85th legislation. So local policies that TASB suggesting that we revamp is EF, which is in regards to instructional resources of updating the American Library Association, which they depend on for the adoption. So there's some subtle changes to bring that into it. It also deletes the appeal process, since the appeal process is in the grievance policy. And it clarifies the guiding principles that a parent may request for his or her child to be not be permitted to access the challenged material. EFA is deleted because it was relocated to EF. EFFA, policy changes there is in regards to admin code changes in May of 2016, which deleted the requirement for a board to adopt a policy for selecting instructional material. Instead, the rules require a board to select instructional materials in an open meeting with proper notice under the Open Meetings Act. EHBD is alternative methods for earning credit. Recommends the provision for credit exam with prior instruction, or to clarify that the examination used must be board approved and reflective in current statute wording about failure to earn credit. EIF is academic achievement graduation. The local policy of graduation has been revised to delete references to minimum recommended and advanced distinguished achievement graduation. EL is about charter, campus charters. It's recommended for these provisions to clarify at the beginning of the policy that term charter school includes program charters, to provide more flexibility at the application process, addition of references to the legal requirement, content of charter, addition of statement explaining the process that the district will use when revising the charter, and clarify regarding provisions for probation and renovation. GKB is community relations, advertising, and fundraising based on numerous district requests. Policy Service recommends a revision to the local policy to add affirmative statement that the district shall not accept paid political advertisements, so that we're not put in the middle of receiving donations and then an election. So this is a quickly overview. I know Dr. Fay is going to review some of it. I don't think there's going to be any changes, proposed changes to what we bring into July for approval or submitting for update 108. Any questions?
You look looking forward to it.
I won't be here, but I'll get Brandon to present it for me.
I'll try not to be here either.
I'll do it.
Thanks a lot. All right, whatever a TXVSN grant is.
Yes, and so we did write a grant for the Texas Virtual School Network, and I have Jennifer Ellison here to present that information to you.
Good evening. It stands for Texas Virtual School Network, as Dr. Fay alluded to, and we are the proud recipients of $56,000 from the Texas Education Agency. With that $56,000, it'll allow us to expand our dual credit opportunities as well as enter the arena of more virtual and online learning for our students.
Is this a one-time grant, or are we piloting for future? I know we have a few schools that are rural, but now with Resnick and Legacy being opened up, they would qualify for that grant as well, wouldn't they?
So
Not yet. You want me to talk to that? Sorry.
you can.
Not quite yet. McNair and Southwest were the two that still meet the qualifications for Fringe. And so within those two is where we're gonna actually pilot for a few 8th graders at McNair to earn their first dual credit opportunities prior to entering the 9th grade. And then once at Southwest, it'll open up a different opportunity because they don't have to be TSI ready to be part of the Permian Basin dual credit. We'll have all of the ones that we just finished TSI testing. The second subsection where they might have just missed the reading and writing, now you'll have 30 more opportunities for students that were not there before.
Okay, but so we're piloting for additional schools, or it's just gonna be at these two schools?
We wrote the grant for every school, okay?
Okay.
TA only funded Southwest High School and McNair.
Because they're
Middle
the only ones that qualify?
Yes.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
School. So, thank you. Don't go anywhere.
All right, University of
On-ramps.
Texas Austin on-ramp,
Oh, good deal.
whatever that means.
So Belinda Cisneros, this is part of our larger picture to leverage. This is part of our big picture to leverage resources across that we have to fund a core complete environment for both high schools, Southwest High School and Southwest Legacy. And so UT on-ramps is part of that plan. And so Belinda Cisneros, our Director of Advanced Academics, is going to present that.
So this is an opportunity to provide additional dual credit for our students at both campuses. We will be sending 5 of our teachers, 2 at Southwest and 3 from Legacy, to attend a professional development course for 10 days at Austin. They will come back and be the proctors for the dual credit courses. The uniqueness about UT on-ramps is it is credit from UT Austin. If the student is not progressing well, they have the opportunity to say they do not want the credit, which they don't have that with as much leverage with Palo Alto. So this is another unique experience for our students to retrieve or to receive credit for dual credit.
And so the legislature is funding this, so there is no cost to us to do it. However, before, a couple weeks ago, there was. The real uniqueness is that it is actually proctored by a PhD professor at UT Austin. The credit that is earned, if a kid decides to go that route, is from UT Austin, which would qualify for their engineering program, so that kids would not have to retake a calculus course and things like that. The other piece is that you do not have to be TSI qualified, which means we could have our kids in a pre-cal across the board dual credit program and then the kids would have the luxury of, if they're not quite meeting standard, to withdraw from the course, or even at the end of a course, if they choose to stay in the course to challenge the rigor of the course, then they can either decide to take the credit or not at the very end of it. So it really is kind of a win-win. The other piece to this that we are paying for is that our teachers have to go through a very intensive professional development process with the actual UT professors, because they're facilitating and proctoring the course on our site. So it's a very unique experience.
And it's just the pre-cal, or what's the
No,
course?
there-
actually?
They have a list of courses.
Yeah.
We're going to do U.S. history, the English, I believe, physics, and pre-cal.
Like 3.
Yeah.
That's great.
And this is part of a bigger, we kind of stumbled upon this as a result of University of Texas has partnered with Austin ISD to do an entire micro major for students in Austin ISD. And so they're going to be looking for another district in the state of Texas in the next couple months, probably, to become the second pilot. And I had tapped into that conversation early in September. And so we will hopefully be entering into that conversation as well. So
And these dual credit hours that they earn will not impact the number of dual credit hours that they can earn from Palo Alto.
Yeah, okay.
So
There's a number of things happening in the arena of early college entrance for students, and what we'll do is bring this, I think, in a brown bag maybe, so that we can kind of go through back to the whole picture of what we're complete Palo Alto College and the work we're doing at UIW. We're just entering year 2 planning with the Medical Academy at the Southwest High School with them. There's great opportunities, and I think all these kind of ancillary opportunities that are being created can all plug into that opportunity, which is our conversation with UIW this morning. But I think there's so much going on that we need to bring it back to you guys in the planning, and kind of, we can paint that picture, number by number, and get a great idea, but really, commendations to CNI for getting out there and making these higher education connections for our students. It's really important, and will culminate into a really great opportunity for our students here in the very near future.
And the UT Austin is going to be available this upcoming school year?
Yes, ma'am.
So
And how-
there's so much going on that it's easy for me to get confused anyway, but particularly when you have so many opportunities here, and I know it's confusing for the students as well. And what does this mean, and what's better, and what does it mean for me when I get up there into the university? And having a daughter who's doing that right now, what she thought she was getting with all this is a little bit different than what she really got. And how do we present this? Is it really, what is good and what isn't? I mean, I think there are sometimes when we can take one of these advanced courses, and really would have been better had we gone into the class in the university. So I think the conversation is well worth having.
And I think we're very much aware of that, Dr. Byram. Part of the UT on-ramp's attractiveness to us is that it is different than it's a much more rigorous environment. That's a year-long course as opposed to a semester course. And different colleges within the different universities, for entrance into those colleges, you have to meet certain requirements. And because it's so different at UT compared to A&M, compared to Texas A&M Kingsville, or any of those, is that you are correct in that we probably haven't painted or marketed well that picture for what it means to me if I want to go to UT, or what it means for me if I want to go to Harvard, and things like that. And so that is part of our big plan, to kind of address the need for why would a kid that's not TSI qualified, meaning they have met the college entrance requirement, really want to take a pre-cal course, right? And it really, for us, becomes about the rigor, because the research on advanced academics says, especially for our population of kids that we serve, is that the more advanced coursework that they take in high school directly translate to success of completion of college, whether that credit transfers into an engineering field or a medical field. Those are like little challenges that we have. And so we're very much aware of that conversation, and that's why we don't want to just stay with Palo Alto as our main partner, is that we're trying to branch out now to service our kids with multiple avenues, as opposed to just.
Would you call it tiers?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing with it. So, and we'll present that in a brown bag to y'all, so y'all kind of have a big picture.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. You go.
All right, pre-K for
Essay.
San Antonio
Essay.
grant.
Yes, sir. I'm going to have Francis Barsonis come up and kind of present on this, just to give you some information on pre-K for SA, because I know she's going to cover it too. But we have two areas that we work with pre-K for SA. First one is that there's some students that are actually sent to pre-K for SA in our district, but we also receive a grant to fund some pre-K students here. And so we have some good news from pre-K for SA, and so that's what Francis is going to kind of go over.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Great job. Basically, about 2 years ago, we had about 40 students that were attending half-day pre-K. And what we realized about half-day pre-K is it doesn't help the parents who have to work all day because they don't have places to put their kids. So it really limited our families and our parents for providing that adequate kinder readiness that we were looking for. So we went ahead and applied for pre-K for SA last year, and we were able to get $131,250 to be able to provide the other half day at 3 schools. So our half-day program was at Sun Valley, so we looked at the campuses around Sun Valley, and so each one of those campuses received a third pre-K class this year, and they were able to service about 20 students. We had about 51 throughout the entire year. We could have up to 60. We had a total of 57 that actually walked through the doors of those campuses, and we recruited and kept placing them all year long. We went ahead and applied for the second year, so we were able to use that funding to pay for the other half of the day for the teacher and the aide, and we were able to win that grant. So we will be able to provide those full days for those 3 classrooms again this next year.
Questions?
Dr. Byram? Did you follow that? Basically, we're getting the grant again to pay for the classrooms that we implemented last year.
Yes, well, the question is, how many are you serving?
So for the grant, the way that it works is we hold 20 students for each of those classes. And the reason, we could go up to 22, but we try to hold it at the same number that we hold Head Start. So that way it's not like, why is my kid in Head Start and they get something different than a pre-K for SA grant class. So we held the same rules
So
for
this
everybody.
class is in our campus?
Correct.
Yes,
But there was only like 20 kids or something.
there's 20. That's what pre-K has.
This is much longer conversation probably than I want to go.
Per classroom.
Well, you've been talking about this for 20 years.
And nobody wants to hear me talk.
Those aren't the only 3 we have, sir, because we have,
You're finally catching on if you keep going.
yeah. I think are you under the impression that those are the only 3 we have? We have other pre-K that we fund with Head Start.
What I'm always worried about is how many we don't have
Correct.
and why we don't have.
And so the board,
So
Yeah.
there is to be an overall
correct,
program.
correct.
And there has to be, even if we're not getting everybody, our plan ought to be, how do we get every,
Correct.
I think that's a problem.
We really pushed to try to get every student that was eligible, and
Oh, well,
And this year, really,
Well-
we went ahead and we went from 19 pre-K classrooms to 29 pre-K classrooms in 1 year. So we did a lot more servicing. We also kept the VPK program open, so we held that. If you wanted the exact number of how many kids applied that did not get in based on eligibility, I have that and I can bring that to a meeting.
I think the problem is we want the kids that don't qualify.
That don't
The
qualify.
overage, the over income, correct. So,
We have a lot of those
A few
kids.
years back, that we, right now, we get funding for pre-K at half ADA.
Correct.
So the board has always put funding towards that, and our funding is just south of about $1 million that we expend annually to create a full-day program, unlike our neighbors to the north who have half-day program. So we're able to create these full-day programs because of that fund that the board, you guys give us to create full-day programs. And so having those programs and being a participating member of pre-K for SA, one of the 7 districts in San Antonio who do participate, we qualify to apply for grants. And so as we make sure that we have full-day programs for some of the students, we can only run half-day programs. With these grants, we're able to extend those days into the full day, so everyone's getting it. But a few years back, we moved from just some students who qualify we wanted to do pre-K for all. And we were able to do, with our funds that we have, pre-K for all, we qualify for all who are eligible. Our goal still long-term is if the state continues to put some effort to early childhood education, and specifically pre-K, that we may be able to get to all of our 4-year-olds into a pre-K program, and hopefully even go further down with other funds. Right now, I think with the budget where we are, we're doing some really great things by having a full-day program in our district. That's because of the direction and support that you guys have given us over the years. So we're making those headway towards getting it pre-K for all without the qualifying kind of caveat on the end of that. And we are working that direction.
I understand.
Take us some time.
So I have a quick question. You're saying we have 29 classrooms and about 20 kids in each, so that's about 580 kids that we're servicing. How many kids, do you guys have any idea how many kids that can't qualify, but that are 4-year-olds that we're not servicing? What does that number look like?
okay, so I'm going to answer that in 2 different ways. So I would say about any given grade level, you're looking at between 950 and 1,000 children. So that's what you're looking at, kinder, first, second. So you have that. But some of those kids are not going to apply here.
Right.
Because they need after-school care.
Mhm.
So a lot of other facilities provide an after-school service.
Right.
So we've had parents that say, no, we're gonna keep our kids there. Because I went to all the PCIs and all the daycares to ask, we have spaces in our elementary, do you wanna
Okay.
come in? I recruited out of pre-K for SA. We had 82 slots, we started off with 60 some odd kids there, we ended up with only 40 kids there.
Right.
Because we can keep the money in district if they stay here.
Right.
So we did a lot of recruiting this year for pre-K to make sure that we maximize what we had here.
So you're saying if we have 1,000 kids in the pre-K and we're servicing 580, and then maybe 100 wouldn't come anyway. So the gap is only about 300 kids, maybe?
I will bring you I can bring you exactly the number, because we kept applications for everybody, anybody over income, and some schools only had 1 to 2 kids that were over income at that school.
And we
Only 1
couldn't
to
take
2.
them, and we couldn't take them?
Correct.
I think they don't apply though. I mean, I know people that.
Correct.
They don't even apply because
Correct.
they
They
know
know
they're
they
not
don't
gonna make
want-
it.
but she's saying
I mean,
there's-
they want their kids in it, but they just.
Right, and those are the people that are that missing number
Right. That's
of the people
gap.
who don't apply, or the teacher who is in district
But
who
you
knows
speculate that number is 1,000, because that's what it is in,
most grade
Correct.
levels.
in
right?
their
Yes.
first based. Right.
Yes.
So the gap is actually not as big as it
Probably-
used to be.
Correct.
Okay.
Because we moved to open up more classes for
Right.
all
When we
day,
used to
full day.
just have the PCI or just the Head Start, that's a federal standard.
Mm-hmm.
For example, they don't take military in their qualifications,
Okay.
but Texas, that is a qualifier. So
Okay.
for our Sun Valley Big Country Creole area, that's a big population for us.
Yes.
And so we lost all the military because it didn't meet federally, but the Texas state. So we opened that up and we were able to take all of them.
More kids, okay. 300 kids.
Keith, can you hang on for 20 more years?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can,
Well,
but
you're
I need it next year. My grandbaby's coming in.
All right, anything else on that? Thank you, ma'am.
I'll make sure I have those numbers for you.
All right, item 7 will postpone to after executive session. Item 8, consider ratification of Southwest ISD as a district of innovation.
This is an item we brought before the board before as an action item, and then Dr. McAndrew has gone back to work with TEA, get some more direction, and from that direction, they thought, based on her inclination, that it would be in the best interest to bring this item back and to ratify some aspects of the item, and so that she had an opportunity to present out to the DIT. And so I'll turn it over to Dr. McAndrew.
Thank you. Dr. Burstiff, Mr. Frazier, members of the board. Dr. Burstiff is exactly right. We really believe that it was necessary to present the plan before several different constituencies, actually, and then to ask for approval from the district, the DIT. So following the guidance of the Division of Innovation Director at TEA, we created new information sessions for several different groups that included all the principals, and we asked them to go back and talk to their campuses about the initiative. The district, one of the parent committees that Francis runs, very, very large, I would say about 50 or 60 parents, we presented before them, and then before the District Improvement Committee itself. One of the things that we did was to provide a very thorough explanation of the innovation, the idea of the CAS schools that we all saw when we saw the robotics and the gift from Toyota. We tried to make real for all those people. After the presentation, then, in a question and answer period, the District Improvement Committee did vote unanimously that Southwest ISD should become a district of innovation. And the agency, again, advised us that we should set a ratification of the vote meeting. So if you have any questions.
So at the previous board meeting, you heard from a lady named Susan Salinas, who is a PSTA representative, who spoke to DOI, and their organization, though they have some contentions with aspects of DOI, as do some of us, that we have to go through this process in order to get these flexibilities to kind of curve some things so that we're able to be a little more innovative, creative in our bigger planning structure. And so It was a really positive meeting. And, to kind of just culminate that meeting into a couple of sentences, I think our intent is exactly the same. They have some concerns that aspects of when you touch one of these kind of innovative flexibilities you're looking for, it may create some other opportunities to kind of open up a Pandora's box. So give you an example, one of the items that we're looking at is the credentialing piece, or the piece where the 8-5, when someone's been in education 5 years, comes over to your district, you basically, under our code, you have 1 year to move them from term or to basically vacate them from the district. And we're looking for the flexibility to be able to keep a teacher in that scenario on a probationary type contract for multiple years. And so by doing that, they have no problem with that, but by doing that with that basic chapter of protection in chapter 21, that there are a lot of other things that it could trigger down the road. And if a district so wanted to, they could say, well, we have this flexibility, so now let's change the fact that we don't need this credential for HQT. And so that's never the intent, or was the intent of the group that we work with here at Southwest ISD. And so what we're going to do beyond approving our overall plan of District of Innovation is to come back to the board in a local policy under 8F, which is a local policy that they worked out with Round Rock ISD, that kind of just sets those parameters so that everyone feels good about the plan, the intent of the plan. And if we all fall off the face of the earth tomorrow, that another group will say, well, here's the original intent 3 or 4 years ago, because this plan is for a 5-year period, 3-year period, 5-year period. And so we understand that concern.
It's about protection.
Go back and do that, bring that back to you in local policy now.
The local policy is going to set up like a protection against, we know the intent of this group now, but if in the future, so that there's no abuse of that intent.
It will basically set up areas that our intent is not addressing.
It'll put them.
So open up that box of saying, when we talk about chapter 21 contracts, the 5 and 3, that we basically mean this is what it's for. And we're not going to open up these other aspects of chapter 21.
Okay.
Of our intent, nor do we want to do that. And we want our association to feel good about what our intent is, and we're willing to put that in local policy and bring it back to the board.
Okay.
Did you inform them of the fact that we were going to do this policy?
Yes, we actually looked at round ones together.
Were they comfortable with it? I know Susan Sullivan was.
Oh, yeah. She's good.
She was great.
She said she
She's
spoke
really
up
great.
at the board. We had that conversation because the time was running out. If they wanted to file a grievance, basically there was only 2 days left from when they found out about the DOI to when they volunteer. But they're very level-headed, easy folks to work with, and their intent is always in the right place. No problem.
Okay.
Any other questions? Need a motion?
I move.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, moving on to Bear County Juvenile Justice Academy.
Dr. Escobedo?
Good evening.
Good evening.
We come before you to ask you to consider approval of the Bear County Juvenile Justice Academy, our memorandum of understanding. This is our standard MOU we've had for the last several years with JJAEP. This is a partnership requirement under Texas Education Code due to Chapter 37. This is for any students for reasons of expulsion, for students who violate the district student code of conduct, for any mandatory and discretionary items. Do y'all have any questions concerning this MOU that you have before you?
How many kids do we usually have in there?
This year, we have 5 students there. The prior year, we had 11. And the difference was because of an incident we had at the 9th grade campus the prior year. In 14-15, we had 8 students. In the year 13-14, we had 8 students. Prior to that, 7 students, and 5 years ago, 11. So it's generally under 11, with the exception of last year with that incident at the 9th grade campus.
And are we keeping is the boot camp still in operation? We're keeping that, right? We're not-
I would say the boot camp is kind of that structure that has reduced our numbers. Up to 6-7 years ago, our numbers did not look like that. Our boot camp is more rehabilitative, more prescriptive, and I think it's been a blessing to a number of our students.
Are we doing anything with that? We're just keeping that? Good.
Right now, we're keeping that. We had
Anything else?
conversations credit for their,
Right.
their students.
Yeah, it is.
Need a motion?
I move.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Thank you.
Motion carried. TASB study.
Good evening again. We presented this information as item information last brown bag. I did look up, and our last time we did do the TASB salary review was in the 2006-2007 school year. One hiccup that I didn't have in the last in the spreadsheet that you have now is the clerk for external funds. They did move it, but they didn't calculate a salary adjustment for that. And then the fine arts clerk was an additional cost because we had 2 of them that we were moving to 5. So that did change the dollar amount, and the clerk's just a little bit. And the other one I left off, and I don't know how I left off, was the chief of police, which is on the admin, was moving it from 1 to 3. So it made a subtle change to the bottom line price that was presented to you in a brown bag. But with the discussion that we had with senior staff and what we brought to you as a brown bag, we're asking tonight that you approve the adjustments and the changes to the current pay scale for the 2017-2018 school year.
Questions?
I move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you, sir. Moving down to business and financing technology renovation project.
Yes, sir, Mr. Rafael Barajas.
Oh, yes, as I mentioned on the construction update, we are done and we have the certificate of occupancy. So with that, we are presenting the consideration of approval for the substantial completion of the technology building additions and renovations. KenCon was awarded the project, and now the project has been completed, and we have a certificate from Garza Baumberger Architects for May 23rd of 2017. Our fiscal impact, this project was funded through 2012 bond funds, and our recommendation is that the board approve the certificate of substantial completion between the district and KenCon constructors.
Questions?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
I'd like to extend, Mr. President, an invitation to any board member who'd like to stop by the facility. I know during the employee banquet, I was able to take Mr. Fraser through there. It was a great project. The way they put the building together was very professional. So if you'd like to stop by at any point in time, we can put together a visit to walk you guys through there, or just stop by and really polite.
You have a hard time finding all the wires now.
They're not hanging everywhere.
All right, moving right along to miscellaneous general construction work.
Yes, sir. This is for the miscellaneous general construction, the approved indefinite quantity contract that the district has been carrying since 2011, RFP 1617-016. For general contractors indefinite quantity contract that our RFP has expired as of the end of July. I'm sorry, the end of June. So we took it back out and took proposals from contractors. We had 6 contractors submit RFPs. They were evaluated and ranked based on the criteria in the RFP. District staff evaluated those proposals and found that all of the 6 that proposed met or exceeded the requirements. And actually, if you look at that list, everyone on there has worked for us before or is currently working for us. Marksman's the only one. They're new to Southwest with the Career and Technology Building, but Earl Forbrick Jr. Incorporated General Contractor worked for us at Sky Harbor. Heath Orth, KenCon, MLP Ventures, and SBM General Contractors are the 6 that we're recommending for approval.
Are any of those new, or we've used all of them?
Marksman is, I would say Marksman is new. There's 3 new to this list, but they're all contractors that we've used or are using currently.
Correct. Marksman's the one we're using now at the CTE building for the summer project.
Heath Orth, SBM, and MLP were all on the list on the last 3-year contract. But Marksman, KenCon, and Earl Forbrick have all done work for the district through jobs that they've bid on the open side. And this is a contract for 3 years, starting July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2020, at which time we could extend the contract for 2 additional one-year periods.
Questions? Need a motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Board signatures.
Yes, sir. This is in lieu of switching banks from Wells Fargo to BBVA. I know last month y'all had to sign, but this is for us to open accounts and start that transition. So I'm just asking if the board could approve this resolution and get your signatures for the new bank.
Yes, we can. I move that we do that.
Do I hear a second? Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no.
Aye.
I think. Carried. All right, moving right on down to curriculum instruction and autonomy.
So we have Cesar Garcia, our Director for Current Technology, who's going to present.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, on behalf of the CTE department, we're requesting permission to purchase an Atomage table convertible from Atomage Incorporated. It's pretty much an Atomage virtual dissection table that we're planning on purchasing for our HEAL Center, our Health Education Active Learning Center, as the renovations are being made at the high school. Well, phase 3, I believe.
Phase 2.
Phase 2. So we want to make sure that we have this equipment, this instructional equipment that's going to be available for our students, and allow our students to, in the health science courses, to utilize 3D imaging software with Medical Design Studio to virtually learn the human anatomy mirrored in the medical field. We want to make sure that our kids have a competitive edge. We will be the first high school in the region, or in the state, I believe, to have this piece of equipment. And as part of an agreement, we have, we're going to be showcasing to 6 to 8 school districts that will opening our doors so they can come and see this equipment that I believe UIW also has a table like this at their university.
What classrooms are getting these tables?
It's one table. It'll be
one table.
Yeah, it's an 83-inch touchscreen table for students.
brochure, Yolanda, that's going over there so you can see it.
Okay, but what class, for
It's
what
for the health
class?
science program.
Oh, okay.
Our health science,
Right.
anatomy and physiology also. So
Okay.
it's a 3D imaging anatomy projector that can pretty much influence our students to be more well-rounded with the medical skills needed
What
for
size?
83-inch
Life size.
by, Basically life size. It's a life size.
Do you want to see it, sir? Do you care?
We saw it at Tassie. Were we walking? Yeah. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else? Questions? Comments?
So the table actually comes with 3 different cadavers.
3 different cadavers.
Female, approximately mid-age, 35 to 42. I believe younger age.
That's amazing.
It also says.
And Mr. Rodriguez.
I thought we could have one slightly used.
Kick the tires?
We're gonna put them in there.
Okay.
That's it, sir. You good?
Anything else?
I moved
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. We might want to enroll in school again.
And almost as exciting is algebraic reasoning course. Melissa Vandercook is
Say that again.
almost
No
as exciting
cadavers.
as the table, the Atomage table.
Good evening. So I'm here to request for the addition of algebraic reasonings as a high school math course. It will increase the number of rigorous and advanced courses that we offer at the high school. It will help build that foundation of algebra for our kiddos, and it does count as a 3rd and 4th year math for our high school students.
Is this a human being?
That's the exciting part. The
Yeah.
teacher is going to teach
Yeah.
it.
Mhm. Real life.
Real life. Thank you.
Anything else? Need a motion?
I move.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Instructional material purchases.
And running a close third to the excitement of the Animage table is Lisa Bolte.
Good evening. No tables and graphs tonight. I'm here to ask for approval for purchase of instructional materials. We're looking to purchase materials for K-5 ELER, K-12 Math, K-8 Science, our LOTE, TE, language other than English courses, and all of our CTE courses for a total of $1,094,000.
You're giving us that?
This will be paid out of our instructional materials allotment from the state.
What is that divided by 7?
Not enough.
We will ask our math expert, Melissa, to come back to the table.
All right, need a motion.
I move. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. One more thing, ma'am.
Just a reminder, tomorrow we would like you to spend the day with seniors.
Do what?
Oh, it's our retreat, right? Oh, awesome. What are we gonna do at the retreat? Like,
What was that?
Play a lot of games.
Is that 10 or 10:30 we're supposed to be there? 10 or 10:30?
8:30.
What?
I'd like to be there 8 o'clock, but 8:30 is fine. You got the gavel.
8 o'clock?
We might not be there then if you say that.
We anticipate to stop at Reader.
Is it 8 or 8:30?
8:30.
Okay.
And it's at the bank?
Somerset.
Sounds exciting.
8:30 to 4.
Is Region 20 gonna do it, or is?
Dr. Villegas.
Dr. Villegas.
Oh, Dr. Villegas,
Yeah.
awesome, I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you give an update on the property, real quick?
You have anything else?
If you're available Thursday, go down tomorrow, we're gonna have a new officer swearing in ceremony here at the boardroom at 9 a.m. And just another reminder that we are asking to move the July board meeting up to the second Tuesday, because we'll be, a few of us will be in Singapore on the public work program, so we appreciate the board's flexibility, so that we can partake in that program. That's the 3 things I have, sir.
We have one
You say
thing.
it's going on Thursday?
We hired a new officer, and
Oh.
we'll have his official swearing in.
Police officer. Okay.
Thomas wants to say something, sir.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So I was just gonna give one last update on, we will be closing on the property across from Southwest High School tomorrow, so we'll have acquired both pieces of property.
Yay.
Me and Mr. Abate will be spending the day together tomorrow.
Have fun.
So that will all close tomorrow. Dr. Versus already signed on behalf of the district. I just need to have him sign, and then we go to the title company, and it'll officially be ours.
Tree trimming company.
We're, as soon as we get the title or deed of the property in our name, then we're gonna go ahead and trim up and take some of those trees out to try and clean it up a little bit.
Nice.
Are you in charge of going in and taking care of the building?
I will be.
30 days, sir. We gotta give him a 30-day eviction notice, then I'll send it Thomas in. With some help. The sheriff.
Is there any information as far as anticipation on when it'll come all the way over here? Do we have a lot of time,
Yeah,
the construction?
it's scheduled to be finished in 2020, so we don't, yeah, there's still some time, we're still finishing up over there.
I know
We'll probably have to meet again with TxDOT, because at that initial meeting, that's what.
there's also, we did see the Weber Trucks, who is the construction company that's up at Highway 90 doing the work. They were actually, they had 3 trucks down here, and they were, I don't know what they were laying out. They were kind of looking over this intersection here at Pearsall and 1604, so I know that it's moving forward, and it's probably going to come.
They're putting those bridges up pretty cool.
They
It
are.
might come a lot faster than we
We're thinking,
what
yeah.
they expect, but it's supposed to be done all the way to 35 before 2020.
Yeah. They're just moving a lot faster than you would typically think.
Right.
Any more or one more things?
Let's go.
Can we hang on just a little bit, sir?
Sure, I can hang on as long as you take that time off for tomorrow.
Best negotiator.
He's the goodest.
Sure.
Hi? What are we gonna talk about?
I don't know, there's something going on.
We had a little student that showed up.
Oh,
Okay, good. No problem. Yeah, that'd be the best presentation we've heard.
Yes, we need to stop for that.
Yeah.
That's exciting, sorry.
Let's go.
At 8:30.
We're done.
Sending my kids
Probably get a good deal for you on that table.
Hey, that's where John's teaching. Lanier.
Gonna teach there?
He's there already. Well, he was there in December.
I don't really know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He's mentoring some, well, hopefully they graduated. That was his job, to mentor 5 kids, and he's doing the Capturing Kids' Heart thing. He's doing the staff development for that.
That's a good one.
No, they have him doing, he's doing all the training so that he can train the people next year on capturing kids' hearts.
That's
So
awesome.
he works for SAIC?
Oh, and then I think next year they assigned him to be like a helper with the fine arts there at Lanier.
Nice.
He's in Uvalde right now doing the Fine Arts Academy.
So, but he's actually gonna be a teacher, right, at SAIC?
Yeah, he works for them, and he started in December. Jeanette let him out,
Out of his contract.
contract.
That's great.
I had Sylvester wants to know if you are going to Austin, or you're going to Austin.
This weekend?
Good. Man, this year, like she went from being a first-year teacher to being like a 5-year teacher. Like she's like that quick, like on it. All her booklets, curriculum, I mean, lesson
and it must have been.
super organized.
Oh, okay.
She's in a training in Dallas right now.
I lost the toss.
Yeah, so you got
I can't even tell you.
I remember seeing
I
that.
don't remember flipping.
Maybe you can go to Singapore with him.
I wish.
You're supposed to.
I won't. I'm not going anywhere out of the United States of America. I don't want to.
She does her thing.
Understood.
Wait, she's very voluptuous now. Like, she was real skinny for a while.
A really great surprise. We do have a recognition this evening, and so it came as a surprise to us, but since we have this young, great student in our midst, we'd like to go ahead and recognize her. And so I'll turn it to Ms. Janice Hernandez. I think she may even share some words with us, I believe.
She is, definitely. So we'd like to welcome Sun Valley Elementary School's Leanna Medina. Hi, Leanna, welcome.
So cute.
So Leanna,
See, pretty?
Leanna is really, she's a real leader at Sun Valley Elementary. She really takes initiatives. She did really well at for the STAR testing.
That old flower.
She has been in the district since she was 3 years old. And she is just a wonderful student who wanted to come out here also and share some words with everybody. So, Leanna, go ahead and share some words with us. Yeah.
That's even better.
It's the 21st century, he's never done a selfie.
That is so cool. Yeah.
All right.
You gotta send it to her mama.
So Leon, did you want to share a few words with everyone? And go with that, Ms. Hernandez over there, is it podium, or we do it right there?
Where do you want to do it? Wherever you want.
Just put that microphone down a little bit. Bring it down. There you go.
Can I say everything? Oh, of course. Okay. Hello, my name is Liana, but people call me Spinda instead. I'm 11 years old and I'm ordinary. Well, I think so. The truth is I have a lot of non-ordinary things, like my speech, my left leg, stepping on someone's toe that I didn't mean on purpose, dropping things that I didn't mean to. I'm very sensitive and forgetting. Even though I have dyspraxia, I'm a strong leader. I overcame being bullied. Sadly, my left leg was easy meat to be bullied when I was 3. My leg was shorter and tighter than my right, so it wasn't able to grow properly. Instead of fighting back, I choose kind. When you hear the word Spinda, you'll You're like, what? That's a, oh wait, what kind of name is that? To tell you the truth, that's my breakdance name. I started when I was 4th grade or 8 years old. Trust me, it's really hard. You need flexibility, strength, balance, and a smart brain. Even though it's really hard work, it can open a lot of doors to succeed. Smiley face.
Thank you.
So we also have Leon's mom, is that right? So thank you.
Well, we had that one exciting thing tonight.
That was the best part. Yeah.
Well, you were his close second. All right, let me read these numbers. Under Texas Government Code 551.001-551.146, we go into executive session. All right, we come back into regular session, and it's 7:51 and a half. And I'll go back to the superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. I have one more thing.
I would like to introduce some new principals.
In that case, you got to hold.
And so our principal at Hidden Cove Elementary is Ms. Roxy Freeman, so welcome. And our new principal at McNair Middle School is Ms. Anitra Crisp. Apparently Ms. Crisp has a parade wave down her.
My name is misspelled.
We're extremely proud to have you.
Do I still sign it? It's misspelled.
I think both of our new principals here are great models of people who have put in their time and dedication and their work ethic and deserve to be leaders of their own campus. They're extremely proud that they have earned that opportunity. And the interview committee wholeheartedly agrees. And tomorrow's a new day. They show back up the principal.
Yay!
All right, now you're at your one half of one more thing.
Hold on.
One more thing.
Am I missing something here?
Yeah, you didn't pay attention.
I'm sorry, I distracted him.
Did I sign the wrong place?
If you had a half of one more thing.
All right, we're adjourned at 7:56.